Okay, welcome ladies and gentlemen to Starladder Season 4. My name's Epi and we've been waiting for long enough. Thanks everybody for tuning in, thanks everybody for watching. This is the first official game, I guess. We had a bunch of qualifiers going on yesterday, Toby casted those, and now we are officially underway. No Tidehunter up against Na'Vi. So, the former stand-in for Na'Vi, Admiral Bulldog, who, well, kind of made a big name for himself with his Lone Druid play. He's now playing up against the team that got him into the competitive scene, at least when it comes to his reputation. And I hope we're going to see a great game. Obviously, No Tidehunter is now the new home for Loda as well as Ake, so the two old best friends, as well as two of the most renowned players. At least Loda is probably one of the most famous Dota players out there. There's been a crazy Chinese guy that made a long video about him as well, so let's hope we will see a nice game. And the draft is actually moving along quite fast. As you guys can probably see, if not then let me point this out real quickly. Over here we can see Na'Vi don't have any reserve time left. A 20-second penalty hit both teams, but a full 90-second penalty hit Na'Vi because Ars Art as well as Havost were still playing a pub game. So Puppy will have to, well, he will have to just pick fast, and he will not have that much extra time to go ahead and think about what he wants to pick up for himself. But yeah, let's talk about the draft. The first ban phase is already over, and of course we see a lone druid right now. Let's see if Admiral Bulldog can, well, do a lot of damage, I guess, with his signature hero against arguably the best European team in the scene currently. And usually Admiral Bulldog gets put on the long lane with lone druid, and he's got a bunch of interesting ways to manipulate the creep waves. I hope he will also show these moves in this game. So sorry guys, just my girlfriend said I was not audible in game, so I was really scared for a second, but apparently I am. So lost my train of thought. No, actually, yes, Admiral Bulldog. He's got a bunch of crazy ways to manipulate the creep wave, and let's see. Well, let's hope that he will show some of that in this game. And yeah, so if you guys out there looking to improve your lone druid play, he will definitely have a bunch of stuff that you can copy from. And Na'Vi, let's actually catch up on the draft. Darkseer, Chen, Bane picked up by Na'Vi so far. So Bane is a rather unusual pick, but the Eastern European teams love playing him. He's difficult to pull off. You know, a good nightmare can really make a fight for you, and a bad one can give the enemy team enough time to get in position and support. And the draft is already completed, so there I go, talking about some random stuff while the draft is being completed. TA Lone Druid, Keep the Light, Undying, Rubik picked up for No Tidehunter. Na'Vi will start with Darkseer, Chen, Bane, Brute Mother, and Sand King. So Puppy will probably be playing Chen. Ars Art is playing yeah, Bane, Light of Heaven is playing Brute Mother, Sand King will be played by Havost, and Dendi actually playing Darkseer. So there should be something quite interesting. Usually in this kind of constellation, you would have seen a more conventional hard carry hero, and then Havost would have picked that one up, and that usual solo mid hero for Dendi. Alright. Now the in-game open mic is also on. I heard some people talk about that, but as far as I know, Vlad said that there's no in-game ticket out there. So if you guys are hearing me in-game right now, then interesting, to say the least. Maybe I got something wrong there, but oh well. Dire side, Na'Vi, and No Tidehunter on the Radiant side. Admiral Bulldog got his pimped out Lone Druid. Ake is playing Keep of the Light. Eternal Envy is playing our Rubik. Loda playing Undying. Let's see if we're going to see a long lane solo Undying. We had Snake King from Dignitas actually beat a tri-lane all by himself just playing an Undying. It was really sick. That was a game I cast with AC. It was really fun to watch. And S4 on Templar Assassin. Another thing that we talked about is that, oh, actually, Puppy running into several heroes from No Tidehunter side, but there's no, the guy with the disable right here, Rubik, was not in position. An interesting ward placement right here from Eternal Envy. That was unfortunate. Usually if you go into the enemy forest, you would... and you see, this is exactly why the order of heroes with which you move into the forest is incredibly important, because you do want to make sure that if you do spot someone, that you have it disabled to get him, hold him in position for a little while, or manipulate his position at least a little bit so that your team can go for some damage. But since that Rubik was so far behind, they weren't able to capitalize on a really big, hugely, immensely out of position Chen. But here we go, creep wave spawns, rune is at top, it's a regeneration rune, kind of the most useless level 1 rune there is. An anticipatory shot, Illuminate from Keeper of the Light doesn't really hit anything, but at least he's got a use right now for his regeneration rune. And you can already see the effectiveness of this ward right here. Puppy going for the D ward, and he has no idea where it is. And this one is also going to block the creep camp, I reckon. Let's have a quick look and check this out. Block creep camp, 2 of them are blocked already. Dandy in the middle lane with the Darkseer. So we're seeing a solo mid Darkseer versus TA. So I do want to keep my eyes on this. On top we will have a tri-lane, Rubik, Keeper of the Light, and Undying against Bane and Sand King. Up toward the bottom lane, oh, let's have a look at middle lane. There's some hits being exchanged. S4 gonna have a tough time. Ion Shell really melts down Refraction pretty fast. And of course we have Admiral Bulldog, but this time on the safe lane, up against Light of Heaven. So Light of Heaven, probably the most accomplished and experienced long lane solo player in the Dota scene. And the long lane solo role is the most technical position you can play, and you really need to be an experienced and strong player. S4 moving quite far underneath the tier 1 tower, but he's fine to do it because he had this creep wave there. And of course Refraction if things ever tend to go wrong. Puppy in the jungle. The legendary Chen. If you have been around since International 1 days, then you know what I'm talking about. Puppy had so many epic plays. Deny from Dandy, this is important stuff. We put up the last hits and denies, so you guys can see who is winning currently. Poor man shield on Light. And this guy right here, he has been really lucky. So his story is basically, he has been playing a pub with Dendi or two, and Dendi was so impressed with his lone druid play that when Na'Vi needed a stand-in, he's like, hey guys, I know a really strong lone druid player, and they asked Admiral Bulldog to just stand in for them, and so he did, and now all of a sudden he's playing on no Tidehunter. So this is that 1 in a million chance you get to get yourself into the professional Dota 2 scene. Because even teams such as no Tidehunter, if you have a new constellation of players, you need to play together for a really long time until you're really capable of taking on teams such as IG or Na'Vi. So once it goes into the really competitive realm of play, consistency is really important. You need experience as 5, because of course it's a team game, it's a no-brainer, but just so many subtle movements in team fights become very important. Now we see Light of Heaven pulling the creep wave up toward himself. So by the looks of it, Admiral Bulldog was manipulating the creep wave properly, lasting with his hero, and perhaps pulling with his bear as well. S4 in the middle lane in huge trouble. Denny's got the haste rune, so I don't think TA is going to be able to survive this, and the nuke from Chen gets the last hit. First blood goes to Na'Vi. Great gank by Puppy. Great rune by Dandy. So this really gave them all the tools they needed. And that top tri-lane, the question is whether or not they just want to play kind of defensively or just keep control of this area right here so that Undying can get all the last hits that he wants. But usually if you are going with a tri-lane, you want to make sure you at least keep the enemies out of the experience range. Some pulling happening as well from Na'Vi. So if you do want to pull this creep camp, as soon as you see your own wave, if you're on the dire side, passing right this spot, then you can aggro the creeps and then run up this way, and that way you will make that pull work. Dandy by now out-leveling S4 in the middle lane, a little bit more than half a level. And then you're going to find himself a regen rune on bottom. Rune control, so important, and Dandy of course, probably the strongest European solo mid player there is. If you're interested in learning the solo mid as well, then do check out Na'Vi versus Orange, the games from the International 2. Man, Mushi is one of the most underrated mid players there is. Arzard now moving in toward Ake. There's initiation onto Ravos, but it's just defensively to throw him right back in because here's that nightmare initiation onto Keep with the Light. Stun follows, and now Ake looks to be in great trouble. Loda doesn't have the heal for him, and down goes Keep with the Light, and the fight is still going crazy. They have True Sight onto Ravos. He has to get himself away. 1 second. He's going to try to get to the low ground with the stun. No, instead he turns around to go onto Loda. Disable out from Eternal Envy, but he actually gets right-clicked to death by Na'Vi, so it's 2 kills for them. Ravos survives this very, very closely, and Papi also low on HP, so Na'Vi get themselves 2 kills on top. Amazing initiation. And Loda, he had the Soul Rip. I think he had the Soul Rip, but I don't think he used it on Ake to help him out. 3 for 0 for Na'Vi so far, and Ravos will just limp himself back to base. All the while in middle lane, Dendi gets slowed down, S4 exchanging hits with him, but kind of miscalculating his damage and his own HP, because he actually drew the shorter end of the stick. He's out of consumables too. Now his bottle arrives. So he'll probably have to just drink it completely empty, and then he will need to get himself the room. But it's 15 seconds away, and we already have the support Rubik checking the top. But Na'Vi have a ward here as well. Is it going to survive this? Yes, I think it might actually survive those last 10 seconds. Ravos gets surged in onto S4. Where's the stun? There it is. Ion Shell doing great amount of damage, and now the vacuum back in, and S4 is going to drop, and Ravos... Good play. Good play by Dendi, surging Ravos, so he's able to get out of true side range and then go invisible. This is just really calm play by Na'Vi, and this is what I'm talking about. These guys have been playing together for such a long time. It's really sticky situations. I mean, if you were that stanking in a pub game, you would probably be really... You know, your nerves would get to you, and you would probably make some form of a mistake, but this is just Na'Vi, I guess. And again, Ravos gets himself back to base. Goes for a gank, then goes back to base. Arzard on top. It's harassed a bit by Undying. Look at the last hits here. At least that's one thing going for no Tidehunter. The 3 main heroes on their lanes are winning. Dendi, just 2 last hits behind his counterpart in mid. And Light of Heaven now doing what a Broodmother does. You can see from the positioning, Na'Vi will now try to get this tower down. Let's check the items. Now you gotta check for... Yes, we have 3 TPs on no Tidehunter's side. Admiral Bulldog goes back to the tier 2. He knows he's in trouble too. And toward the top lane, now the question is no Tidehunter. Do they either prepare for that push on bottom, have a bunch of TPs in and try to defend? But no, it doesn't look like it. They will try to trade. So Arzar will have to watch out for himself right now. But... yes, the glyph is used. Na'Vi will get this thing down really fast. TP on... nobody. So if no Tidehunter get this tower, perhaps Na'Vi will have to decide whether or not they want to continue pushing into the tier 2, or if they go maybe toward the middle lane or whatever. And there you go, Dendi now chasing after S4. With that haste, pulls him right back in as well, so he's establishing dominance on lane, I guess. Tier 1 on bottom goes down, Tier 1 on top down to half HP, so 1 tower for Na'Vi. Dominant play so far on the map. Keep in mind, guys, this is a best of 1. We have a bunch of games of Starladder Season 4 coming up today, though. After this. I'm not even sure which one's following after this. Tombstone, only level 1 up from Undying. Already hitting level 6. So experience as well as gold in favor of Na'Vi. There's that initiation onto Loda. Ake gets it off of him, that sleep. And Rubik goes down to Dendi as well as Arzard. Support TP is coming in as well. There's Ravos. The stun range is enough. It's a level 3 stun. And now Loda, he cannot drop. He shouldn't drop. But he probably will. Actually, no, there's that decay onto 3 heroes. That gave him a crapload of HP. But the stun cooldown is off right now, and Ravos will use that, secure himself that kill onto Loda. 6-0 so far, the kill score. And now Light of Heaven, due to that tier 1 tower being down, he can push himself all the way in. And what this does indirectly as well as open up, since this tower is down and you're able to push the lane all the way up to up here, you're opening up this whole potential for a hero such as Chen, or even yourself with your spiderlings to farm that as well. So that's additional money for you and less money for your enemy. Arzard, big trouble. He has to sleep Loda right now, but it's not fast enough. Undying gets the last hit with his DK. First kill for no Tidehunter, 9 minutes in, 6-1. And Admiral Bulldog is probably now feeling the pressure building on his shoulders. But look at Ladder Heaven, 41 last hits. He's almost as farmed as Admiral Bulldog. I mean, he's been on the long lane versus that lone druid. And now the gank coming in from Puppy. He's just using his creeps. Ultimate used from Ladder Heaven as well. Great block used as well. Now they're going to try and chase after him. The slow, the block. Great micro by Puppy, but I don't think it's going to be enough for Admiral Bulldog. It's still good for Ladder Heaven though, because now this tier 2 on bottom is being pressured up toward the top lane. Loda might be out of position a bit. Dendy has been looking for him. There he goes. Ion Shell's up, but support from Ake is there. Who is this? It is Eternal Envy on the Rubik, and Dendy will have to get himself right back. And there's Arzard with the ultimate. The Tombstone goes out. It's only a level 1 Tombstone though. Now Loda goes chasing. DK is up. It's only a 5-second cooldown, and now Arzard has to run himself away. Oh, there's that brain sap. There's a right click. Surge onto Arzard. Not enough, and Dendy might be in trouble now as well. One more second. Dendy gonna drop. Support TP. Is that the Sand Not so. Yes, it is. But he's up against 3 heroes. He's on level 6. Gets a stun out. Channels the ultimate. Is it going to be successful? Ah, the ultimate gets through, but I don't think it's going to get a kill. He dies. And a triple kill goes to Undying. This is exactly what no Tidehunter needs so far. So there we go. Gold right now spikes all the way up toward above 2k for the Radiant side. So does the experience. So this is how fast-paced the game of Dota is. Incredible play by Na'Vi for the very early game, for the first 8 minutes or so of the game. Good play by Rubik, I guess, too. I think that might have actually been intentional, because he spent all his gold and then he probably just didn't want to run all the way back to base. So sometimes there is some merit in denying himself to a creep, especially in the early game. But what I was trying to say is that Na'Vi played a flawless game early on. Good movement across the minimap, good laning skills. But just one situation up here where you make maybe like a wrong TP and a little bit of an overextension in trying to help your teammate, and all of a sudden the tables turn. And this gives a little bit of a breather to the bottom lane, because Ladder Heaven did a pretty good job pressuring this tier 2 bottom with his Brute Mother. Arzard with the haste now coming down here. And they spot out Admiral Bulldog. He needs to chase for 6 more seconds until he has his ultimate. The big question is, are they gonna? Loda is here, so is Ake. And Na'Vi are in trouble. They should back out. The Illuminate doesn't reach Ladder Heaven. Alright, let's switch into vision of no Tidehunter. Now he spots Dendy. Dendy disappears in the fog, but Eternal Envy does not care. They keep on chasing. Who are they after? They're after Ladder Heaven. He throws down a net, and now no Tidehunter appear to be mounting for a push. S4 runs into Dendy. Dendy's got a Blink Dagger already on Darkseid. He's got a DT rune on himself as well. Pulls S4 right back in. There goes the slow, but the Surge is up, and he's going to chase after S4, who's trying to go for the TP. Dendy's going to kill him. And down he goes. In the meantime, Lone Druid gets a kill on the tower. Bottom tier 1 drops. Good stuff. Dendy never ceases to amaze or impress with his plays. Puppy giving some mana to Sand King, who just made this really ballsy move on the top tier 2 to TP into 3 heroes and go for the epicenter, but it didn't quite work out. 2 Centaurs here, going for the tank, but Loda's here, and we all know how tough an Undying is to kill. The DK, the Soul Rip, is just so much effective HP on that hero. So even if you look at his HP and you're like, oh, it's just below 1k, we can kill him. No, his effective HP is a lot higher than what you might think. Especially if you have just now he almost survived this gang on top about 3 or 4 minutes ago because he got a DK onto 3 heroes. So now we're gonna go into the gold per minute because the last hits don't matter that much anymore. The top 3 heroes are from the Radiant side, so this is looking actually pretty good. Look at the late game potential too. This is quite solid. Both those teams are pretty strong in the late game, and I mean Na'Vi have the big team fight, but these guys have the late game potential. I mean, they have 12 slots on Lone Druid. S4 picks up his Blink Dagger 13 minutes into the game, so that's fine. It's actually a pretty good timing, considering that he's got Phase Boots and a Magic Wand as well. 80 last hits on him. That's an insane amount of right click. And Admiral Bulldog isn't trusting this situation. If you look at the warding from Na'Vi as well, they got wards all over the place. They got this crazy Bermuda Triangle thing going on. They should get some de-warding happening. And just speaking of the devil, Rubik is moving in here. I'm trying to find Ladder Heaven. 2 Sage's Mask indicate an Orchid Malevolence. And Dandy middle lane, big trouble. Surges himself, but they don't have... That's a problem, they don't have a disable on these 2 heroes. They're lacking the stuns a little bit. They have that mana burn from Cube of the Light, and they have the telekinesis from Rubik. But beyond that, they don't have a lot. They have an entangle, I guess, and the slow. But if Dandy waits with a surge until well, if he surges himself anyway, he won't be slowed down for the duration of it. And it appears, yes, Sand King isn't even going to tank up. And Na'Vi now understands the role that they're playing. They understand that they... oh, S4. Na'Vi understands that their lineup thrives in big teamfight situations. And what is more important in teamfight than positioning? I don't think there's a lot of stuff more important than positioning. Perhaps hero level or hero composition. But with the Sand King, with this type of lineup, you really need some great positioning. And you have Dandy there to rely on to go for to prep your positions with a great vacuum. And there you go. Even that really strong slow from TA, not enough to catch a Darkseer. Dandy too sneaky for that kind of shenanigan. And Puppy has been offensively jungling this whole time, almost has his mech. By the way, let's check the items quickly. Middle lane, S4. There's Oblivion Staff right now on Brute Mother. Bane just tanking up a bit. Blink on Darkseer. We will have a blink on Khavas soon. 200 gold. Chen basically has his mech completed. Admiral Bulldog appears to be going for a relic. Midas is up. Poor Bear though, might drop. There it goes. Blink Dagger on S4, we pointed that out earlier already. Pipe Recipe up for Loda, so he needs 200 more gold and he will have it. Ake, probably a really poor sucker. Just some Tranquil Boots, good item if you're poor, because it gives you a really good movement speed and also some survivability due to the armor and some stayability. Is that even a word for what it does? It just gives you some HP, so I guess that's fine. And who else? We have Rubik, I guess also one of the lowest farmed heroes. So if you look at the gold per minute, Rubik and Arzard and Cube of the Light are the lowest. And as you can see, Khavas has a really low gold per minute count, but he's just been diligently spending it, saving it. And that is why he almost has a Blink Dagger. And he's going to have it soon as well. I don't think he's going to die before he gets this. And now a Roshan attempt by Na'Vi. Okay. Illuminate will go out. I don't think they cannot... This is too fast from Na'Vi. Yeah, there goes the mech charge. And they're not going to stop. They will just continue going for Roshan, and no Tidehunter can't do anything about this. If it were... Oh, Illuminate almost kills Dandy. Loda goes in. He gets nightmared up though. Dandy, man, he was so low. There goes the Chen heal. But it's not enough. Dandy drops. Arzard drops as well. In the meantime, Chen also died. And now Light of Heaven gets gung-hoed into the corner. They don't have True Sight so far. And there goes the dust. Light of Heaven in big trouble. Second death going to come up shortly. The problem is that now the debuff of the dust probably dispelled. And they don't have vision. There's a ward. Okay, there's a sentry ward. Down goes Light of Heaven for a second time. So they weren't able to challenge the Roshan, but they were able to move in afterwards and kill everybody. And so that's not good for Na'Vi. That's for certain. So Na'Vi got their advantage back, as you can see right here. Then they went for Roshan, and bam, no Tidehunter came in and killed them like crazy. Very strong play. Good Illuminates by Cube of the Light. Really abusing the fact that this entryway is so narrow. The same way that Na'Vi would abuse this narrow entryway were they to challenge a Roshan with the epicenter and the vacuum. As for probably going to be the Sacrificial Lamb, Arzard forced to use that ultimate, and yes, we see no Tidehunter just retreating out. They know they cannot save him if they were to... Oh, that stun was so close! Admiral Bulldog put the Midas on his bear. Sacred Relic here as well, and now Na'Vi know that they need to keep on moving. Khavas goes in there, he has the epicenter, and they don't even need to use it to kill Loda, but there you go. There's an effective HP, and what a DK! Pipe is popped as well, mech used by Chen. They're trying to get Loda down, and the right click, the pullback from Dandy is enough. Illuminate goes through, does a crap load of damage. Dandy surges himself away. And now they gotta focus down this tombstone, or will they? They don't even care, they're going after Arzard. Oh, it's the tombstone of no Tidehunter. Na'Vi should focus it, but no Tidehunter don't care. They like that tombstone. Man, Loda survived for such a long time. And you know the thing is, Sand King didn't use Havas didn't want to use his epicenter right there, but afterwards his teammates, I mean Loda's teammates, came in to help him. So perhaps it might have been a good move or maneuver to kill Loda and also prevent the reinforcements to come in. All the while, Light of Heaven has just been continuously farming, but still no Orchid up. We're almost 20 minutes into the game. He's got about 5 last hits a minute, 1 death to his name. Okay, continuously charging up that Illuminate. This is a really great spell. He's been using it to great effect in team fights for farming. He almost has a mech as well. Needs 700 gold more. Let's do another check of the items. Alright, so there's that Blink Dagger from Sand King. Oblivion Orchid almost up for Light of Heaven, but kind of late. And where's Admiral Bulldog's bear? I don't think he has a relic for his bear yet, but it's going to be a fast relic nonetheless. And with that relic, I think they're going to have a pretty good chance of winning the team fights against Na'Vi, because Admiral Bulldog will probably try to use his bear to send it ahead. Oh, sorry about that, guys. Aki got a kill on Dendi. It's pretty big, actually. He's also going for an Orchid by the looks of it. Or maybe a Refresher Orb. But I doubt it, actually. There's that Radiance on the Spirit Bear. But what I was talking about, he will probably, you know, in these sieging skirmishes, when they are pushing in and just lingering around here, waiting for the creep wave to come in to push down a tier 2 tower, he will probably send his bear across or behind that tier 2 tower to just do that burn damage on heroes such as Darkseer and Sand King. Because Sand King will not be able to, he will be able to channel his ultimate, but he will not be able to blink into the enemies right afterwards if the Radiance Burn is disabling his dagger. So he would either have to be surged by Dendi after he casts his epicenter, or he will need to be surged and then run in for a stun into an epicenter. So this is one application of that Radiant Spirit Bear. It has a really high movement speed too, and remember that if this game goes really late, Admiral Bulldog will be able to have 12, well, in theory he has 12 item slots. So the very late game looks really good for no Tidehunter, because Na'Vi will depend on perfect teamfight execution. I mean, it's nothing that Na'Vi are not capable of, but it's still more difficult for Na'Vi to pull off than for Tidehunter. No Tidehunter. Tier 2 on top drops, and Light of Heaven and Arzard pressuring the Tier 2 bottom. Poor TP's coming in. Roshan, 5 more minutes. Let's have a look at, what can we look at? Gold per minute, net worth, hero level. Let's have a look at the levels. Poupée!'s got mech, arcane boots, town scroll, and 1500 golden bank. Look at this. This is looking pretty strong so far for no Tidehunter. Looking pretty good. Net worth of that. Oh man, Na'Vi getting beaten by Admiral Bulldog. Isn't that ironic? And Lone Druid's up to another 2100 gold, so that might actually be a Hyperstone. S4. Trouble for you, sir. Eternal Envy is here. You're going to toss him right on top of Puppy. But Revos has that Blink Dagger, so he'll probably... Yeah, Eternal Envy's dead. And S4 will just run himself away. Loda still farming up. Now he's tanking up as well, so next to effective HP, he's still just bursting up the pure HP as well. While Admiral Bulldog continues to farm up his frickin' hero. And as you can see, Na'Vi have been continuously warding the enemy jungle. Bear going shopping, there's that Hyperstone. Have a quick look at last hits just to calculate the last hits per minute. Man, what is this? Like 8-ish, 9-ish per minute for Admiral Bulldog? And now the Orchid is up on Broodmother. Now I wonder what Light of Heaven will go for next. I'm just looking at the lineup from No Tidehunter, and I wonder if he will go for BKB afterwards. I think it would still be a good choice, because it will just give you the ability to just lock down one hero and never let go until he dies. S4 tries to go for the big hit onto Revos, but he blinks himself, he stuns himself away just in time before S4 is able to do any more damage. Light of Heaven stealing some creeps, or attempting to at least. That Satyr went to Admiral Bulldog. And even Arzard now, he's probably going to juke into the woods and then TP out. He should. Let's go into Navi vision. This is Navi vision right there. Smoke. It gets revealed off by Light of Heaven. And he's in trouble right now. There goes that dust. The silence onto Rubik. Where's his support? Ake is still charging up his spells, and Light of Heaven gets that kill right now onto Rubik. Heal goes off from Chen, but to no avail. But still a good play, good reaction by Light of Heaven. Havas stuns himself through there, goes invisible, and now hastes himself away. Admiral Bulldog gonna burn him. There's that lucky entangle. Havas also gonna drop, and now the slow onto Arzard too. He will run away, but they turn around for some reason, and they do not want to continue fighting this. 2 heroes down for Navi, and just a Rubik lost for no Tidehunter. Unfortunate for him that Loda went the long way, and that Ake can't really help him a lot. He just has to stand in the distance and charge up his spell. So Rubik in the end was the only one standing against the Brood, even though it was 3 heroes ganking him. So Light of Heaven, this hero understand what you need. I don't know what Havas is trying to say, but oh well. Now S4, there's that BKB, reminding you of the items. Orchid. BKB attempted right now by Light Heaven as well. This is really big. I mean, now look at this. No Tidehunter is running away from Navi in terms of items. Lone Druid has got the Plate Mail, the Chain Mail, as well as the Hyperstone. How much gold does he have in the bank? He needs 600 gold more, and he will have... Is it still... I think they changed the Assault Cuirass recipe cost. No, it's still 1300, so 600, and he has that completed as well. BKB on S4, all the while Light of Heaven only has an Ogre Club, so there you can see the item advantage coming into play for no Tidehunter. There's no pipe completed on Navi as well. I mean, Puppy has got a Ghost Scepter, he's going for a Necronomicon as well. Dandy is going for that Refresher Orb, holy crap, but by the looks of it, right now no Tidehunter need to pull the trigger. They should go for the Roshan, and then they should go fight. The most critical point in time will be when they go for the Roshan fight, and Navi will try to challenge it. That will be a critical point. But if they win that fight, then they have a big chance of getting themselves a set of racks. Because if they win the Roshan fight, then it's basically over for Navi. There goes that glyph. Support is coming in, I think. Arzard doesn't quite feel safe running in there. Sacrifices life for deny, and S4 gets himself that last hit. Light of Heaven knows he really needs gold for the BKB. This is really bad. As we can see, no Tidehunter, they are completely aware of their situation. Top tier 1 drops to Navi, but it's fine. No Tidehunter, take this. And now they know we need to give up Roshan. Look at this, they're not even challenging. So what no Tidehunter will try to do, they will get this down, and you will see immediate TPs to defend the top. We already see one toward the tier 3, Aegis on the Lone Druid, and now they will move themselves in there. TP channel toward the mid tier 2 as well, and we have TA right now moving in, and Navi back out. They know that they were not able to get that kill in the tier 2, but at least they get it down to half HP. So this is good in the, well, not good in the overall picture, but it's still the most that they could do. They decided not to challenge the Roshan. Instead they got themselves a tier 1 and half a tier 2 on top. But still, no Tidehunter have a really big advantage right now with the BKB on TA, and Aegis as well as an Assault Cuirass now freshly completed on a Lone Druid. Things are looking very, very good for no Tidehunter, and this again is a best of 1, so Navi will not have any way of kind of winning it in the end, because this is the only game that counts. It's not a best of 3, it's just a best of 1, and this is why, you know, the loser brackets in the International 2 were kind of criticized, because, you know, it's just a best of 1 and anything can happen in a best of 1, basically, just generally speaking. But yes, this is the format for the group stages for Starladder Season 4, and that's how it's going to be. Loda TPing toward the top. He might even be able to defend this against two... No, actually, if they use the ultimates, Loda goes in. He might actually be in trouble. Oh, this is some good mind games right there. Would you look at that? Why am I saying mind games? Because Loda was alone over here, and he charged into 2 heroes that, in theory, I think, would have been able to kill him. I mean, level 2, I think it's level 2 ultimate on... Yes, it's level 2 ultimate on Havast. It's an Ion Shell on Dandy. He's on level 16 by now. Oh, S4, BKB charge used. Arzard sleeps himself. And gets sent back by Puppy. Great play by him. He's going to pay for it with his life, though. Radiance Burn doing so much damage, and now that the Ghost Scepter wears off, he's going to drop. And the creeps from Chen also going to take a fall. But what do I mean with mind games? I mean, 2 or 3 heroes from No Tidehunter weren't visible on the map, and Loda just TP'd up there and ran into them like they were 6 heroes right there. So Dendi as well as Havas just backed out. They were like, dude, this guy is playing really aggressively. Something's up. Maybe we were getting ganked or something. But instead, they could have just killed the Undying. Oh, Epicenter used by Havas. There's the ultimate from Dendi as well. The fight is breaking loose. There's Refresher Orb. Dendi doesn't get out a second ultimate. No mana. He wasn't able to get his Arcane Boots used up. And 3 heroes dead for Na'Vi. Buyback used immediately by Puppy. Oh, I don't even know if it was. And Puppy calls it GG. That looked weird with that buyback. Disconnects out as well. And an amazing play by No Tidehunter. And with the kind of lackluster initiation by Na'Vi, they just get killed and call it GG afterwards. Great play, man. Admiral Bulldog wins against Na'Vi with Lone Druid. So now they're going in for the finish. We will have a look at those endgame stats. Arzard's still here. Sleeps himself. Right-clicking away like a madman. And there goes that Ancient. No Tidehunter win. Look at that gold graph over time. Pretty good stuff. After that 8-minute mark and that little mistake from Na'Vi up there, No Tidehunter just brought it home. Light of Heaven wasn't able to get his farm up fast enough, and Admiral Bulldog ran away with the farm. TA with the BKB before their Broodmother was able to get one up herself. Kind of just secured things for No Tidehunter. So guys, this was Na'Vi vs No Tidehunter. We have another game coming up. We'll have a look at which game exactly that is. Until then, I will play you guys some music, and again, thank you very much for watching. My name's Epi. Check out epicommentary.com. You can find my YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter right there. And yes, I hope you will join me for the next game for Starladder Season 4 as well. See you soon.